Hi there, welcome to On the Fence, where intelligence and common sense come together. I'm your host, Lacey Steigerwald, and by the grace of God, I'm with you today. It has been a storm. I would say a something storm before it, but we have literal storms. We have all kinds of crises going on. And in the midst of it, it's a genuine sense of overcoming. And that around me, I have people who are fine in the immediate sense of being around me. And then I have an entire arena of people who I care more than anything about, who are either in danger or in dire straits or doing amazing things. And I'm both terrified and proud at the same time. Honestly, I didn't get to do a show on Friday because of preparations and just seeing how things were going and making sure my family, who's in Kennedy, which is about 70 miles from Corpus Christi, and in Houston, and pretty much my entire family is there in the Bayou area, and they are safe, they are fine. But it's been a struggle to see how this all pans out, and it's not over. The mainstream media has been playing a very good role in keeping everyone informed. They've been very clear with communicating what our leaders have been communicating, and I just want to give a special shout out and thank you to our governor. He's been amazing. To Sylvester Turner, the mayor of Houston. He's been amazing. And I'm sorry, this is emotional because I hope everyone is paying attention. This is how America is supposed to work. And this is how Texans want to be seen. And I hope that you're paying attention to the truth that is here. You have leaders who genuinely care about every single life that is at stake here. You have them communicating that over and over again. And you also have the special task of, whatever you say as a leader really has an impact. And there are people already trying to politicize something that cannot be politicized. You have a mayor who knows how Houston really is. On any given day in Houston, you could be trapped in traffic. You could be stranded in traffic for any normal reason. Someone will have an accident and you'll be stranded, much less a natural force such as a Category 4 hurricane hitting an area nearby Houston. He had to make a very big decision there. And what he had to rely upon is his faith in what has happened in history, what has happened with people there in real life. And the truth is that you could probably have lost many more lives putting people on the roads, even on Friday, even before the rain hit Houston. That could have potentially been just as devastating, if not more devastating, than what we're dealing with right now. I think it's almost better to pluck people from roofs of houses and buildings than to have maybe tried to rescue people from flooding highways. We know that most of the deaths that occur in situations like this are people drowning in their cars. And so if anybody wants to go after the mayor of Houston for having a different suggestion for his people, which was licensed to him, which was given to him by every other leader, said, listen to your local people because they're going to get you out. And further, I think it's amazing that our people, our neighbors, and everyone who has boats and has the resources have actually been the first responders alongside the first responders. So there isn't a first responders there. We find out that the government can't come help us and then we go and we help. No, that we were right alongside those who were prepared and are right now working alongside the first responders of police and emergency people. And I just think that that's the most amazing thing that you could take into your brain as far as preparing for whatever you would ever deal with in your life. Because I even said a month ago, I started saying you need to prep. By August 21st, I want everybody to have at least a week's worth of stuff. I want you to guys be prepped. Whatever it is, pretend like a hurricane is coming. And it did. And the cool thing about Texans is that if you're not prepared, you can probably count on someone else being at least prepared. What we couldn't prepare on, just so you know, and why we are struggling and why it is very much a strike to us. It is a wound and we are struggling with it. It's painful to have to be under this kind of stress, to have to worry about how you're going to get your kids to the highway and then what's going to happen after that, and your animals and all of this kind of stuff. And the reason why a lot of people did not leave initially is like really, like I said, people can look at the history in past and know that it only comes up to halfway into your yard or things like that. And so in leaving and being on the roads and congesting the roads, that seemed like the worst evil. And I think that's probably the right thing. But when you have 6 inches of water in your house, that's like something you don't really imagine. You imagine a lot of water or no water. And some of these people are realizing they've got inches of water and there's nowhere to stand. Their babies can't stand. There's nowhere dry to be. And that is an emergency situation. We've got a need for supplies because we don't have those internally. We have what we have and then that's it. So I think the major need for the Navy and our government is going to be them bringing us supplies and bringing them to, the local places that we go to get that help. Last year, when we did have floodings, they had certain plans intact that worked well. And so they're only going to capitalize on what worked well in these little situations. And Houston doesn't flood all the time, but it's not rare at all. Flooding a little bit happens a lot. Flooding big time is kind of every other year or so, every few years. This hasn't happened since 1961. So the fact that we are where we are today can be given credit to those who have been ready and first responders and all of these people who are following their instincts and doing a well job and giving themselves license to do what they know is right, given their experience. I think that's working really well. But the technology, the fact that a lot of people knew about this, like on Friday, saved a lot of people. As you know, the last time that a hurricane hit, Hurricane 4 hit our coast like this, it was in the 1800s, and like everybody died. And so, and the reason, it was the same kind of thing. No one knew what this storm was going to do. It was totally schizophrenic. There was different reports, even back then, when you could generally scientifically judge that a hurricane was coming in by barometric pressure and things like that. It was doing weird things. and it hit them and obliterated everybody in its path. And worst disaster in American history as far as natural disasters go. This had the potential to do that, but I think technology played a big part in saving a lot of people, not to mention the planning, and not to mention the genuine interest and concern and prayers of so many people and so many high-ranking people. Greg Abbott, God bless you. Brock Long of FEMA, God bless you. And he was real, wasn't he? He gave everybody license right off the bat on Friday. He was like, you know what? If you want to listen to someone saying, you know, I'm the government, you can go now, then go for that. But if you want to use your inner instincts and really take care of yourself, you should do that. It was amazing watching him say that. And it kind of like, you know, spurred my interest a little bit in that this is serious. It let me know that this was serious and that it wasn't going to be something that I would want my government to be in charge of. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are they supposed to know what it's doing? I want to show you a picture. Like, I don't even know what's going on. That's where this frustration comes from with a lot of us, is that we're minimizing the communication between us because there are real things going on. And some of us are volunteering down there. There's a lot of people that are MIA because they're volunteering. We've got a group in our neighborhood about to go down this weekend to bring a lot of supplies. But in real life, you know, the phones are going to go out. There's 4,000 people, I think, in Austin still that don't have electricity. And this is Austin. We had really, really high winds and a lot of rain, but it's over now. And they still can't, you know, charge their cell phones. So there's real stupid little tiny things that keep us from really knowing what's going on. But our community and our leaders made a real example of what America and Texans have a talent of doing. And not to listen to anything but what is real and what is going on. And I hate to say it, but this is one of those things that really helps us as a nation. And those people that are in my favorite towns, please know that I'm telling you that I'm hurting, and I feel like this is good for you, America. So please listen and please pay attention. Because you're not immune. Nobody is immune from natural disasters. But you can be immune from the BS out there. And we're on the road to making it BS free. If we could build up that infrastructure. They're talking about, metaphorically, talking about how, you know, they're going to come in and say, well, Houston needs to be rebuilt. So you're gonna fuss? We're gonna do some really good things in here. You're gonna fuss about it, and no one's gonna fuss about it, are they? That's politicizing this situation. I'm talking about realitizing this situation. There I go with my stupid words. Making this situation real. Making this situation nothing but truthful. And go, I'm not going to show you pictures because you've seen enough. Soon they'll be coming out with the pictures of dead animals and things. But I don't think that the casualty number is going to be very high, and I'm so happy for that, and I'm so proud of our fellow Texans, and I'm so proud of our government for keeping out of what they didn't need to be involved in and giving the license to the people who can take care of themselves to take care of themselves, and now they have the resources to go take care of the people who need the most help. Because they're still out there. I'm not saying that everything is peachy keen, because it's not. Still need a lot of donations. We still need a lot of supplies because Houston is huge and it's going to take a while to get in there. And in the meantime, everything that we do have prepped and things that we do have supplies of close to Houston are going to run out. This is going to go on for a long time. People are not going to have houses to go back to for a long time. After the floods recede, then they can maybe start cleanup. So just keep in mind that once the media stops covering this because it's not exciting anymore, we're still going to need a lot of help. We are the first responders and we are the first caretakers of ourselves. But after that, we're going to really, really need some supplies. I'm going to go to commercial break, and I think we've got a really special guest. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a really fabulous country star. His name is Richard Lynch, and I'm going to play his music. We're gonna love on him, and we're gonna ask him some questions about why he loves Texas too. All right, we'll be right back.
What the devil are you doing in the street dressed like that?
Sheriff, I'm the kilted realtor. I'm here to sell this house. You know, Scottish, kilt.
Oh, yes, I get it. Like Braveheart. Just like Braveheart.
Yes, sir. Whatever works, Sheriff.
So tell me now, how exactly do you sell a house dressed like that?
Well, Sheriff, my name is Corey McDonald, and we Scots are known for a hard work ethic and that we can be trusted.
Oof, that gives me an idea. Do you think that you could help me get my young son Junior in a house?
Well, Sheriff, I'd be proud to find Junior a house and walk him through step by step.
I can't wait to tell Junior he's moving out.
Well, Sheriff, you tell Junior and anyone else you know they can reach me at 832-638-2379 or go to my website, kilted-realtor.com.
This is my lucky day. So long, Junior. You got a new home thanks to the Kilted Realtor.
Morning last week, so we just beat the rain.
Yeah, well, it's not like you would have known it was coming anyway. It seemed to be a little schizophrenic on a lot of people, and we're all kind of waiting to see how this pans out. But so on my side, I apologize for a little of the discombobulation with our schedule. And thanks for.
Oh, fine.
All right. Well, I know you're a busy man. You were last week working in studio feverishly. Did you get a lot of work done?
Yeah, we had a lot of success in the studio. We've got we did 20 radio interviews in and around North Texas, West Texas, and some Central Texas of last week. Since then, we've played a couple of amazing shows up in our neck of the woods, a little town called Clifton, Ohio, Saturday night. And our schedule just keeps on trucking. I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong, but it's good to be busy.
Well, I know I'm kind of a homebody myself, so I'm kind of spoiled. I get to work with the computer in my house, but I admire you and your quest for ethos. And what I mean by that is that I think your artistry in the music world, you are a patriot. Can you tell me where you get that sense of patriotism from, where you feel like you need to, use that in your music? I feel like that's your muse, your patriotism. Where does that come from?
Well, I was born in a farm family. I grew up hard. We never went hungry, but we always had plenty of work to do and a lot of chores. We knew responsibility from a very young age. Mm-hmm. My dad served in World War II. Mm-hmm. Actually, my dad was very, very young, and I was born late in his life. But my grandpa served in World War II, which on my mother's side. Mm-hmm. I just believe and realize how much of a necessity we need to show how wonderful we got it here in this country. I mean, there's a lot of folks that kind of take things for granted. I guess we all do to some degree, but I just realized that we live in a pretty amazing country, and I just want to make sure that I express how much I love and appreciate the wonderful U.S. of A.
And you do that also in your volunteer work, if I'm not mistaken. You've taken a couple of veteran causes under your wing. Is that correct?
That's true. I'll give you just a little bit of background about that veteran cause. A good friend of mine, Mr. Chuck Brisbane, sent me a poem several years ago now, how he was touched by the news of a gentleman who had come back from Afghanistan. And Mr. Brisbane went to meet this gentleman. He had been on the news, and he's in the hospital. And Mr. Brisbane walked up to the door of the room of the veteran, who had been pretty well shot up. And it was early on in the conflict. And on the door of the veterans hospital room was a note that said, "If you're coming here to feel sorry for me, please leave." And that touched Chuck immensely. And so Chuck wrote a poem and sent it to me and asked me if I would put some music to it. And this poem was called Love Tattoo. So I sat down and another friend of mine in Nashville, we collaborated, all three of us. I put the music to it, and we added another chorus to the original lyrics that he had sent us to come up with a song called Love Tattoo. And a lot of folks, they ask me, well, what exactly is a love tattoo? And I tell them it has nothing to do with ink. The love tattoo is a dedication and an absolute love and reflection of our country. So the soldier, man or woman, had given of themselves to be in our military. Mm-hmm. So they came back, their love tattoo was the fact that they came back either psychologically messed up or physically shot up.
Yeah.
So that's their love tattoo, and we wrote a song about it, and all the proceeds actually go to help a foundation in Michigan called the Whirlwind Lodge. And any service member from World War II to today is welcome there. And it's a great facility that welcomes and honors our great men and women who have done so much for us. And one more little tidbit of information in regards to that.
Yeah.
That there is Mr. Ronnie McDowell. Ronnie is a huge singer, entertainer from the 70s and 80s, had mega hits.
Yes.
Me and him recorded a duet of the song called Love Tattoo, and once again, all the proceeds go to help our men and women who've done so much for us.
Okay, can they is there a specific site that they can go and view you, or can they go to your website? I'm going to share whatever you got on all my social media things. So what's the specific place that they can go, or they can just look up Love Tattoo and get connected?
Well, you can go direct to LoveTattooFoundation.org.
Awesome.
Or you can go to RichardLynchBand.com and see all the, scroll down and see all the different things that we are doing around the country.
Yes.
And you will find the Love Tattoo Foundation on our Richard Lynch Band website.
That's awesome. I like it. I've been to the website, you guys. You'll really like it. It's got all his videos, and we'll play. I was going to play Cut and Paste a little bit later in the show. Hope that's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Now, I know you are in Ohio, but I don't get out much, but I have been to Ohio. And I felt kind of like at home. I felt very much at home. Do you feel like, Ohio and Texans have a lot in common?
Well, we're all Americans. And, by that I mean that you've got an appreciation for, myself, we're from the agricultural family. We raise hay and horses and donkeys and have a multitude of agricultural-related activities in our life, along with the music. But so, when we go to places that have similar mindsets, we typically have that same appreciation for that. But that being said, I've never been anywhere in the country who hasn't treated me very well with the traditional country music that I've been playing.
Well, it's good stuff. I mean, you are a very talented man. I really like it, and it makes me happy that you have taken up, kind of a different. Now, country music, I mean, in general, especially classic country, it's where I kind of lean towards, because I'm not sure if I like a lot of new country, but your tone and your sentiment and your, like I said, your muse comes from a very patriotic place, from a heartfelt place, and I really think people are going to connect with that, and probably obviously already do. So, I mean, I really connected with your music, so I hope people get to listen to it more. Is there anything going on that we need to know about specifically with Love Tattoo that we could get involved with, or you just got an ongoing sponsorship going on?
Well, 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a year, we have on our farm a building, a beautiful farm, barn on our farm, where we hold an event. And the proceeds of the event goes to help the folks there at the Love Tattoo Foundation, which goes directly to our servicemen and women at the Whirlwind Lodge. So it just so happens that September 9th will be our next event, and I think that's going to be the last. We may have one more in October that we're going to do for the Love Tattoo Foundation. If this is the last one, there may be one more. But it's a beautiful facility here in Waynesville, Ohio, and we just like people to be made aware of what an awesome facility we have. It seats right at 400 people, and if you got world-class entertainment, with the music, and you're in an environment that's just amazing. And when people hear the word old barn, they tend to question it. All I can say is, without being boastful, it's probably the most amazing barn you will ever be in.
I bet.
It's beautifully built, and sits back here in the country on our farm, and there's a beautiful pond that sits along the side of it, and it's got a big wraparound porch on 3 sides. And they can enjoy the country atmosphere and listen to real country music. It's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. That people, you do not want to underestimate the beauty of a party barn. It's amazing. But I mean, I'm actually thinking about your scenery, and I bet it's breathtaking. We in Texas as well have embraced the party barn. We have different versions, though. I don't know if you know about the liquor party barn. We've got that, but no, we have a lot of new venues just like yours. And there were some ideas about employing veterans to work them, employing veterans specifically because if you have any property that they can live on, or if they want to work the farm, or if they want to do things like that, it's actually very therapeutic. Do you know have y'all considered anything like that?
Well, we would welcome anybody helping us here at the farm. We work our tails off.
Yeah, right? If we could hire anyone, Lacey, we would do that. I get it. I get that.
But as we speak, we haven't entertained that idea just yet. But that's really a great idea. It may be that happens in the future.
Yeah.
We just have a genuineness of our music and our fondness of our country. And, if you love what you do and you're around what you do, you've come to realize how fortunate we really are. And when people come to our farm for an event, and like I say, it only happens 3 or 4, sometimes 5 times a year. So when we have this event, it genuinely is an event. And, people, they'll come from 4, 5, 6 different states to come to one of our events. And the folks come for the first time, they're genuinely blown away because the barn is almost as big an attraction as the music. And
wow.
Don't misunderstand me there. The music is the attraction, but to be in an environment that's that that wholesome and that genuine. It's pretty spectacular.
It's like a church, is it not?
Yeah, pretty much. It could be defined as that, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, I mean, there's a connection here where, you know, I feel like music also has a huge role to play in, you know, people who don't have I don't know, specific story of patriotism, like you said, you know, and I also share the same history of having, you know, relatives that have served. I feel like, you know, growing up in the country, I had a little bit more responsibilities and things, and that's where my patriotism comes from. But your music can also inspire a lot of patriotism, at least the spirit, you know, and you connecting with veterans and things. That's all playing a big role in, I don't know. I don't know if you are in the same way that I am, but I feel that it's our duty in a way to produce this spirit, because there's a lacking of it. The, you know, American way with truth being told all the time, that would be preferable. There's not a lot of truth telling out there right now. And I just think you play a big role in providing the spirit of the truth, justice, and American way. So I hope you continue doing what you're doing. Yeah. You know, never underestimate, you know, ever doing what you're doing. Just keep working, because I'm right there with you. I need you. I need you to, you know, boost my spirit with your music. And, you know, I think you're going to connect with a lot of people. I really appreciate you coming on the show. And I'm going to send people to your site. Maybe they get to come to your event. I know I have listeners in Ohio, so maybe if they haven't heard about it, they'll get to you. And would you possibly consider coming on my show again?
Anytime. You just let me know. You kind of touch base on something. You know, I have another song that we released to radio this year called "We're American Proud."
Okay.
And you know, if we can get folks out there and kind of get them to where they listen to this lyrics and this music, and you know, the next thing you know, they sometimes are touched and they want to do different things, and so it kind of makes people think. And you know, next thing you know, folks are doing good things all over. So I just want to do my little bit of part to help people.
I know, and I bet one last question, because that's interesting you said that. Are you proud of your fellow Americans right now in Texas?
Oh my goodness, am I ever? It's great to see everybody come together, strangers helping strangers, friends helping strangers. It's just amazing to see how much goodness are still left in our country down there. And you know, me and my wife, we've gone through Houston many times playing in Texas over the last several years, and it's hard to put your head around something that's that big to be in that dire of a situation. I think Houston in the end is 75 miles. So it's just amazing the magnitude of this devastation, and to see people come together and help each other. Having been down there, I just really I'm amazed that people are really doing it, and I'm so thankful to see that on TV and know that there's great people out there.
And we got to lead by example, right? Do you think people are going to pay attention and say, you know, put themselves in this situation and say, you know what? We gotta be real about these kind of things. We gotta be real. I mean, look, the pictures are not political. The pictures are not race, you know, related. That you couldn't possibly do anything to make this, you know, I know they'll try, and I know they're already trying in some senses to make it a political scene. I don't know. I would really appreciate it if they would just keep the cameras panned on the successes that, you know, everyone is making and taking care of themselves and showing that example. I don't know if that's going to happen, but you're doing a great job by leading by example, and thank you for saying that you're proud of the Texans, because I think that's something that we all really just need to pay attention to. We don't come here to feel sorry for us. Really, that's the sentiment I agree with. I want people to pay attention to what's going on right now. You have You have
Absolutely.
men and women who don't know each other, risking their lives for one another, and they don't care what color they are. They don't care where they came from. And there was a woman. I've cried several times. I'm usually not this sentimental, but it just, there's something about when Texas gets hurt, I feel it. And there was a mom in one of the shelters. I guess they're in the George R. Brown Convention Center, place I know well. And the mom was holding, I think 2 babies that were not hers, that were just soaked to the bone. And because she was the only one that had blankets, and she was bawling because she didn't have enough blankets for all the children. And it's that kind of taking up your soul and putting it on the table that I hope people pay attention to. Thank you for coming on the show. It's really actually you that made me do this show today. I could be whining and puddling around trying to see what I could do in Houston and not being able to do anything. But I really appreciate you coming on today. I know you got to get back to the studio.
Well, Lacey, thank you for the opportunity, and to all your listeners out there, they know what a class act you are. They wouldn't be listening to you. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. And take care. I'm gonna share everything I got on you, and I'll email you later just to thank you again.
All right. Anytime you contact me anytime we'd love to come back on, hon.
All right, and you tell Mike thank you so much.
Thank you now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Richard. Isn't that lovely music? That is not Richard. That is Skype. And it doesn't want to go away. Go away! There it goes. There it goes. All is good. All is well. Let's watch Richard's video. Okay? Let's do that.
Living in the modern day, electronic super age, nothing's done the way it used to be. Nobody writes a letter or shows up in the worst of weather on the front porch with a rose and an apology. Now it's email or iPhone message. That's the only way to catch you, but you don't call back or come online. So I sit and stare at your Facebook picture. The only way to get back near you is cut and paste your face next to mine. It looks good and it matches up. What a shame that ain't us, like it used to be once upon a time. What I'd give to have you back, how I'd love another crack, just one more chance to get it right. But now it's email or iPhone message, that's the only way to catch you, but you don't call back or come online. So I sit and stare at your Facebook picture. The only way to get back near you is cut and paste your face next to mine. Now it's email or iPhone message, that's the only way to catch you, but you don't call back or come online. So I sit and stare at your Facebook picture. The only way to get back near you is cut and paste your face next to mine. Yeah, it looks like I've blown for be together is cut and paste your face next to mine.
Isn't that awesome? I'm so proud. I'm so proud that I got to see this great guy and chat with a real human being. I have been so blessed that for some reason, every guest that has been on the show has a real love for this country. And I believe the purpose of this show. I believe it is to give you the truth and show you the truth as an example. I may not have, all of the information. Actually, I'm pretty dang good. Like if you just turned in to the live show, the schedule might change a little bit and we'll keep you up to date on that. Maybe get to a better time for you because the live information is very timely. It's very frustrating to know that I, can beat out Rush Limbaugh and everybody on Fox News as far as what you need to know and what is relevant to you. And so much so that I can tell you when a hurricane, I didn't tell you it was coming. I'm not going to bank everything on that, but I did tell you. And not that it helped, because I don't know if anybody that listened, but it helped me validate that I'm here for you. And I want you to be prepared in your heart for anything. Because my point is that even if you did have 3 months worth of food and you're going to be living in your attic for a week, I don't think that would have helped you. But being prepared in your heart, knowing that something's coming, something that you may not have the answers to. I heard a very interesting story about a professor who was the hardest professor. It made the worst tests ever. And everybody was terrified of this test. And it was going to be death for anybody who didn't pass it. So they studied and studied and studied everything that the professor had ever gone over in the entire class. They made sure that they knew every bit of that information. Anything it had ever mentioned, they knew it by heart. And then they got to the test that day and realized that there was a great deal of the beginning of the test that they had never seen before. The first hand goes up, then the second hand, the third hand goes up. And the professor said, "What? I told you everything in the book." And they had just counted on, banked on anything that they had gone over, everything that they had memorized and stayed up and made sure that they were going to get an A on this test. Now he tells us, now he reminds us that it was anything in the book. He's serious. He was serious. Panic, heart attack. Failure, utter failure was already in their minds. And then they looked at the test again and realized that all the answers had been filled in. The test had already been essentially taken for them. And the professor said, "You know what? It's out of the grace of God that you're going to pass this test. Not mine, not anybody else. But just remember that when I tell you that the answers are in the book, everything that you could be tested on is in the book. Anything you could possibly be tested on, you should be ready in your heart to be tested on anything. And if you don't know the answer, you can go to the book. And that's your lesson." I feel like that's very appropriate for today. In that it's not about people being able to tell you when to get out or when not to get out, or give you a month in advance hurricane warning, as you were given here on the Ravens show. But that if you're not always ready, and it doesn't matter how many canned goods you have, it doesn't matter how much water you have, it doesn't matter what guns you have. In reality, if you're not ready in your heart to work with anything you've got and take and find the answers for yourself that apply to you in your world, in your reality, if you're not prepared to do that, I don't think there's any guns on this planet that are going to help you. I don't think there's any helicopter that's going to be able to come and rescue you. I'm going to go to a commercial break and I'll be right back.
What the devil are you doing in the street dressed like that?
Sheriff, I'm the kilted realtor. I'm here to sell this house. You know, Scottish, kilt.
Oh, yes, I get it. Like Braveheart. Just like Braveheart.
Yes, sir. Whatever works, Sheriff.
So tell me now, how exactly do you sell a house dressed like that?
Well, Sheriff, my name is Corey McDonald, and we Scots are known for a hard work ethic and that we can be trusted.
Oof, that gives me an idea. Do you think that you could help me get my young son Junior in a house?
Well, Sheriff, I'd be proud to find Junior a house and walk him through step by step.
I can't wait to tell Junior he's moving out.
Well, Sheriff, you tell Junior and anyone else you know they can reach me at 832-638-2379 or go to my website, kilted-realtor.com.
This is my lucky day. So long, Junior. You got a new home thanks to the Kilted Realtor.
Okay. By the way, that street that's in that commercial is probably underwater right now. And I want to show you one picture, okay? I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that? It's hard. That's a clubhouse. The stop sign. There's a man hip deep in a car almost submerged. That's my house street. Well, that's the street that I grew up on. My best friend's parents still live there. That's a lot of water. It was never like that when I was there, and it got high. And we used to play in we used to get excited about the floods coming. We used to play in them, and because the sewer systems do work so well that they recede very quickly. As soon as you have a break, we could get tons of water one day, all day, and it would flood like hell. But then you get a break, it stops raining, and they go away. Well, we're not getting any break. It's just a constant rain, and the raindrops are huge. I don't know if you've ever been to Houston. One of the first things that my husband has is coming to Houston from Pittsburgh, and it raining in the summer, and these ginormous raindrops, they're huge, and they carry a lot of water, and it's dumping on us, and it's going to continue to dump on them. When you pray for dry air, it's been working. That storm dissipated a lot faster than it could have. And to know how many people were praying, and to know that by Saturday morning it had dissipated to a category 1, from a 4 that was on fire. It was coming after this state on Friday night. And by Saturday morning, it had dissipated quite a bit. Not that it didn't really, really hurt us very badly, but I think it could have been a lot worse without your prayers. And so please know from the bottom of my heart, thank you. It worked. It really did. And what our leaders did, again, praise God for Greg Abbott, Mayor Sylvester, and FEMA director and the President of the United States for making a heartfelt, genuine effort to connect with everybody and anybody you needed to know what was going on and to get the help that we needed. I know you're continuously doing that, and I hope that anything that is needed, you're right on it, and I'm sure you are. But from the bottom of my heart, from Texas, thank you so much, and God bless you, and continue what you're doing, because as the example, the American way can be great again. We are on our way to proving that that's the better way to be. To live in reality and live in the truth that is what we are showing you today, that we love each other as neighbors, that we care about ourselves, and that we care about our neighbors just as much. And that we're not willing to sacrifice our own security and our freedom of speech and our rights and our music based on what the media tells us, you know, who we are. That's not our identity. This is our identity. Pay attention. Get on board. Because we don't need you. What we do need you to do is pay attention. If you're coming here to feel sorry for us or to take film of tragedy, you can go home. But if you're coming to help us be great again, come on. We're ready. We need your help. We do need you in that sense. So God bless you, everyone out there. Stay safe. If you need to get on social media and tell people where you are, do it. Don't let them tell you not to. Okay? Love you guys. Thank you to Richard Lynch. Please go to the richardlynchband.com to find out more information about his event for veterans. September 9th is when you can go. So if you're in Ohio or a nearby state, I think it'd be worth it. All right. Take care, everyone. God bless.